Vesakombe for that generous introduction. And let me say that I never expected to hear such kind words from Dr. Falwell. So in return, I have an invitation of my own. On January 20th, 1985, I hope Dr. Falwell will say a prayer at the inauguration of the next Democratic President of the United States. Now, Dr. Falwell, I'm not sure exactly how you feel about that. You might not appreciate the president, but the Democrats certainly would appreciate the prayer. Actually, a number of people in Washington were surprised that I was invited to speak here, and even more surprised when I accepted the invitation. They seem to think that it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a Kennedy to come to the campus of Liberty Baptist College. In honor of our meeting, I have asked Dr. Falwell, as your chancellor, to permit all the students an extra hour next Saturday night before curfew. And in return, I have promised to watch the old-time gospel hour next Sunday morning. I realize that my visit may be a little controversial, but as many of you have heard, Dr. Falwell recently sent me a membership in the moral majority, and I didn't even apply for it. And I wonder if that means I'm a member in good standing. Somewhat, he says. This is, of course, a non-political speech, which is probably best under the circumstances. Since I'm not a candidate for president, it would certainly be inappropriate to ask for your support in this election, and probably inaccurate to thank you for it in the last one. I have come here to discuss my beliefs about faith and country, tolerance and truth in America. I know we begin with certain disagreements, and I strongly suspect at the end of the evening some of our disagreements will remain. But I also hope that tonight, and in the months and years ahead, we will always respect the right of others to differ, that we will never lose sight of our own fallibility, and that we will view ourselves with a sense of perspective and a sense of humor. After all, in the New Testament, even the disciples had to be taught to look first to the beam in their own eyes and only then to the mote in their neighbor's eyes. I am mindful of that counsel. I am an American and a Catholic. I love my country and treasure my faith. But I do not assume that my conception of patriotism or policy is invariably correct, or that my convictions about religion should command any greater respect than any other faith in this pluralistic society. I believe there surely is such a thing as truth, but who among us can claim a monopoly on it? There are those who do, and their own words testify to their intolerance. For example, because the moral majority has worked with members of different denomination, one fundamentalist group has denounced Dr. Falwell for hastening the ecumenical church and for yoking together with Roman Catholics, Mormons, and others. I am relieved that Dr. Falwell does not regard that as a sin, and on this issue, he himself has become the target of narrow prejudice. When people agree on public policy, they ought to be able to work together even while they worship in diverse ways. For truly For truly we are all yoked together as Americans. And the yoke is the happy one of individual freedom and mutual respect. But in saying that, we cannot and should not turn aside from a deeper and more pressing question, which is whether and how religion should influence government.